Hello, here's a clip I'll be doing of Darien's diary for what that is, and then we're gonna see some of what was being the ideas that were being thought around this time. 7/29/2022 or 2022/7/29. I look awful. I could show myself right now. I'm just tired and inverted, and I gotta take some time to see some stuff out. So this is a great thing that I did. Conceptual design to banter on what I was getting at. But I got these different diamonds. They look like the hazard symbols to do stuff in different shapes of that. And then that's why it's more Darien's diary, because we get of what is the mold and fusion of what are some of his ideas. And this is the YouTube ready one. There was a more explicit version of emotions that is kept elsewhere, and that can't be on this one because I'm trying to post it and show some of the contents. That's really not too much different. So it was like trying to figure out how I like how I was saying about how I felt insecure about how I looked, and that I wanted to look healthier, drink my water, be more alright, or have the squares to create the diamonds so that I'm a complete diamond of what I really intended on faceting those. We have the different sectionals. So Darien's deals is going to improve. We're going to get 900 interior design, which was the $1,000 project. To do that, sometimes I like to call it the $900 interior design, and because, well, we got some to the amount, and as we go, I will have a link to the Google sheet of what each thing was bought, just like what is the sub links. The advertisement 8 will be a continuous sign placement for maybe like $10. That it's not like perfectly done and then I kind of see it there. We're applying the correct amount of pressure for a person to feel alright, and maybe that's how I feel. And I felt something that was really hurting us was not abiding by the field spell Devil's Playground, which is, like no attachments too much unless it felt right. But when it's like a night, usually something negative, and then the Devil's Playground, if there's somebody who creates the application, but the barrier of that age and that space and all those numbers that don't do to get to there, and then there's a difference of what is thought, whether the machine format template manifesto versus what words intend down to say the vice versa of those dual diagnostics. Aging cost, it talks about how things are at the pressure of the stability of it. Cleaning company, I wanted to talk about there's a Udemy class I'm taking, and it's really helping create a good sized person of like everything that I'm working on to make those edges more masterpiece. So when I wake up, I'll still say proxy system. So that was the proxy payroll system. And sometimes seeing new things and new brands makes it feel like the imaginatory of the possibilities of what would happen, like a free-spirited C-class cleaning company versus the B-type Unity, like dual partner limited partnership, than the A, like industrial cleaning company of what that is. This really soliloquies what something, a pizza, a wedges, like that. All those make that so much better. Go you to me. Those make that better. Taking the time to work on it. I have a list of the favorite cleaning equipment supplies, and we're going to go a lot with Beisel. They have a lot of good ones. Power sweepers, the scrubbers before the extractor, then basic wet dry vacuums, heart around 8 HP or 6 HP with a 8-gallon drum or something like that, maybe, even though there are some other ones. And then there's some of our diary about how the floating memories of maybe a contact of that we looked at somebody made us feel and remember that we were looking at some more of an in like how do we not see something, then it just rips it apart. It really breaks that down. There we go. That's that. That's what I think of the building complex of that. I know I have horrible time with talking. Like, I feel like when I'm not alright, then I know that talking to girls is like not always there, and then I'm really trying to create these masterpieces, or these really for the misconstrued conceptual creation of the things that I'm really working on right there to find that. So the association of the degrees of interaction at real time, secondary, or to the point of is that the boson has resident qualities like resonance and Python. If allowed, we would always think about it and have a hate filter before we can communicate. This is based on the threatened Monday of the 1/3 in question. According to the pictures that are seen later on this, which will be done in mid-case, as since we didn't get a response, and then it's has high value embezzlement, or high embezzlement, or political gain and extortion, or money with power. So that's kind of where that all this is happening for Security 28. I mean, it's very vast. The difference on girls speaking diagrams that is already revealing wrong backgrounds. Sold human being on values not curated by sales to affect rep. Schizophrenia excused as a resident as a lesser by fiction allows crime to losses. And then our reaversion of data to crime, that off data was not on set, to allow the battery of what was said. So we're going to be looking for, or at least scrutinizing, Python and data like that, and the complete design of what was moral on that is that off data do not count, and dating to do something, everything about what was done on the Methodist, being a Methodist, it's in this category. This will be the mirror machine for this, because we do have and this is really where we can see that the marauder of that is in the contrast to is equal and metered to our being, and that what is connected to what. I'm sure if we got a real analyst data trying to defend itself, that we would figure what this is and how to clear this maze. So the threat of money, not cooperating, and trans like not, which was like not good, and the high embezzlement values, permanent spite, extended time to our results, so the theme format of the followers of our family, and what it's not going to represent, take a heavy denture on this, suing, forwarding, suing. I mean, there's nothing that's the names of the people who've done this to me, that's for forever going to be that in that concern, and that it's understood that it was not, and whatever was interior to that will be with the resolve of what was allowed within that time to see that. And yeah, it's just this overall emotion of hate, and that when I speak to somebody, it's not that I can get over this ruby July of how I hate that and how I do not like these people, and that what I'm working on doesn't seem intended to the concerns of my being, which seems like the theft or identity theft and masking. And there was not even a detective, but just the listing of each crime, and then how they're changed at the degrees, and then when we're defended, which it can be looked at, and then getting more of that information. Well, I don't think they would need that, and that's why the flotation of that and the prior name of those is for other topics. I don't want to talk about other topics right now because there's so much good information right here. Time variable. There was a interference, so I wrote down the interference like this. Delete or lined it. Money, degrees, subscriber, field, theme, comfortability, ID, and it all regresses that. I feel we have a very ghost ID right there. The rep is the negative of what the positive of that. We'll see if there is those signs here. When is it not going to be incandescent of Darien, or that it's not going to be harm related to Dare model, the health being? Would you like to signature? You have lost a lot of money, and we will get it back. Signatured how? What is your MLS? I will not hurt you on the bracket of, or not that I'm putting a 90 lock, or I'm going to do an OP lock or bracket to make sure that that conversation is ended, or there are no snakes. Okay. Looks all good. Would like to be able to follow along the Riddler a bit better, and that will be expected from me. I look so bad right now, so we're going, and yeah, let's take a look at some of this other stuff. So once we get these graded and extracted, then we can create these formalities and things like that. But I mean, it's not too threatening unless it's pretty much forced to accompany the ID. The health transfer comparison of who's that charge is beyond. We go with the door-to-door sales, cold sales. Udemy talks about so many great ways to improve. Cleaner has cleaning equipment. Remember that? It looks alright. Interior design. I mean, this is parenting 2000. What I'm most concerned about is a later feature. We're going to be talking about AA. Cleaning company. Darien deals. Automation. We're looking to get the GUI engine, the car fundamental chain to be correct. The car universal, if there's a resend to the car to apply changes to the car. I would like it to seem that it's not infringement on the driver. So we're gonna go for Bernstein for our car epidemic and get more evidence. I know he wants to work on it, and I know this is a great place, but I want it to be. Is there any threat to the actual license plate or no? Or security 28. What's the choice are we conducting with the balance of the pediatric overall grading? Doesn't see a reason to distribute the intent of what was that upon anything. This is an excuse that we get a lot, is the PP excuse of the butterfly or everything in being to do something. There is nothing opposing to the linear of that, or that the connected of that. Okay. I'll probably run some experiments on your behavior within that time. Some of that stuff is too advanced. I am looking at this class of what it is, and then hopefully it would be itself. Avoiding EEs or getting in trouble. So I don't want the EEs to be used as methods of getting something, and there really should be no rhyme or reason for an execution model by order of events. Yeah, imagine all the girls you like living a life in turn. Not being nice, even eating the potato. Not saying hello, not being Cloud Castle, not telling you which ones to delete. Data like this on the battery of you getting somebody to do something is the least accepted, even if used. I refuse to vouch for that. Give it some time so I could read the stuff. 1 minute per bit. You don't want to hurt anybody, any of your friends. You want to retain your silver line. Let's go to the bottom about what we talked about. Residential recruitment is done by proper consideration, partition, love, connection, status, and the idea of someone, respecting what we want. By contrast, reverse abstracts that it would almost never be possible. Time is our best tool in success and at a higher despair on Boohoo. So that some of the parts seem inhuman to get to. Inhuman. My ratio to what is being chiseled is so obscure that kind of in contrast for what I see, I think it is Seraphine. I think with these considerations that the beeps on adding data entry or effects onto the video would suggest the overall depiction licensed it to do so, or by call. Yeah, if you like somebody, I know it's like, how can do the work of barely looking alright and all the traps and that maybe beep is your undertaker, and that the orbits of what something needs for you to be in Hindu is how it is that I cannot live without the orbits or the layerings of the privacy to myself, and how I want to solar system those around. That is how I use that to balance that. I don't know how I moved kind of to this side. I would love to see that these called Java cards are worked on to these ones. What's the best example of personal? What is like a personal? What kind of program to make me say it really good? Or who wants? It's difficult for Darien to see that he don't think like a Gaara Naruto, to see that like if friends were not there, then friends are not there. Then what is that? If Darien were to say that he was the command of if we're not friends, and could see by the design of what's already there, then there's not much to see. That I want to feel very faceted. We'll see. Desiring words are escaping how we speak, and that expectation of being a perfect gem, metered and faceted to the gem prison, or and the order of flight of that is different at whatever that is guarding. Is there any last additives that will be worked on? When we get some better lights to the comment of why we didn't show ourselves, then that's that. Remember, in Python law, the button is the button, so that is responsible sometimes. Unless there were, like, I don't know. I hated words felt like that. And the spell kite is just enough about doing what was intentional like that. So this is the mirror security, spacing, itemization, counter solicitation, allowance. The peak is the topic, and that's more of how the response will be. It don't seem too bad. It's just ice, teal, check. There's some of the, what is it called? The Estes Esteem talks about a lot of what later will be an excerpt on how that Crow feels, or the assassin or the collector feels a lot of humiliation, and that steam burns off of their face that creates that, and in their house, and what they wanted to do and what they liked and what were their values. High level of pain for our character at the Estes of Steam. I'm excited to write that way better than I do now. It's like a cathedral, then it has all these crates and things and steam, and it's a bit floors up industrial. Thank you for watching. Somebody enjoy my video, and I'm going to do my best to better grade these, even spiritually on the grading score, what is the grade? Or is the saga a bit too much to tackle? A lot of these things are true. Anything can help. Alright. Any last words? This is 5